quit MMA, COVID 2021. And I just decided to take this last minute fight because, you know, I'm like a little bit older than the other guys. I'm like, and COVID, I thought ruined my career, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had this big fight in Bellator. I got injured. You know, I was down in the dumps. And then, you know, then I recovered 2021. And I was like, you know, I'm going to take this fight, short notice fight in LFA, you know? Against this kid in a week and a half notice, and I had this thing in my back. I didn't know what it was, so I went to a chiropractor because I couldn't sleep. And I had 3 ribs out of my back. You know,
whoa,
like the connection from my rib to my vertebrae, right? But then he goes pop, pops it all back in place. I'm like, I'm good to go.
Felt like a new man.
Signed this fight,
Dude, my
went,
whole
and then
back is like so tight right now, like both sides.
Yeah,
that's what everyone keeps saying.
He's just saying that because he's the one who punched him.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I did not hit you hard, dude.
Yeah, you gotta get. It's inflammation. What you're feeling a lot right now, but I wanted to say is just like, dude, if it wasn't for that, me taking that chance, I took those 3 LFA fights in 7 months, 8 months, got me to the Contender, and it got me to the UFC.
It's crazy.
So I'm just like, I think in life and in fighting, you're one win streak from changing your whole life, you know? And that's just what happened to me in that, you know? So, because when you remind me of the rib, it reminds me of that. It reminds me also of my very last LFA fight that got me to the UFC. Me and this dude, Chase Gibson, are like, the prospects, and whoever won the fight goes to the Contender or something like that.
Yeah.
Goes to UFC. And I'm winning the fight, then he takes me down and my rib pops. For no reason. Just, I don't know if you saw the Kevin Holland fight where his rib breaks for no random reason. Same thing. Except the guy takes me back, puts me in a body triangle, starts choking me out. So when you have a broken rib and a body triangle around you and a giant dude trying to choke you out, it hurts like hell, you know? And then I survived the round. And then between the rounds, I'm like, yo, like, my rib is gone, bro. I don't know. He's like, bro, you want to go continue? I know you got this, bro. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking do this. But in my mind, I'm like, see if the gods are on your side. Knock his ass out right here, right now. 10 seconds later, I knock his ass out.
That's
you know?
crazy.
And that knockout was scary,
that's what you're
dude.
thinking in your head. Like that's.
I was like, fuck, I got one chance at this. I got my whole family and friends. At the time, my girlfriend, when she saw a picture of this dude, she's like, she got shit scared. She's like, oh my God, no, you can't fight this guy. You know, I'm like, don't worry, honey, I got this. You know,
just chill.
Yeah. Anyway, and then that's what got me in there.
You want to do an intro, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just. I don't even think we need to. Let's
even
just
need
go.
to.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We got Hyder, the Hurricane, Amil on the pod.
Let's go,
baby.
Let's go.
Welcome in.
Let's go.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Bro,
Yeah.
Of course.
So happy to have you. We're big fans. We've been watching you for quite some time now. So it's been amazing, dude. We're so excited. And your energy already in here is like crazy.
He came in fiery.
Hell yeah. You
vibration's
know, I
good,
saw
bro.
some of your guys' podcasts. I'm like, these are the kind of guys I want to do a podcast with. It seemed a lot of
you.
fun.
Let's
you
go.
know?
Thank you,
So
bro.
Thanks
you.
for having me,
Yeah,
fellas.
of course, bro.
And you were just talking about, and I think we'll leave it all in. Like we
Yeah,
were
we
talking
should.
about. That was really
cool.
cool. But the LFA card last night was good too. Did you watch that?
I did because a bunch of my buddies were fighting on it.
Yeah.
You know, and only one of my buddies won. And you know, I train with these guys. I'm associated with, so I'm from Scrapback El Nino, but I'm also trained with CSA and Santos Jiu-Jitsu. So a lot of these guys, they believe 4 of them fought last night.
Which ones were that?
Was one of them that big Brazilian guy, the tall one?
So the top, Joe Cropshot was my buddy who rear naked
Yeah.
choked that super tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, was that guy Brazilian? The super,
was
he's
that?
like 6'7", 6'5". He was super
yeah.
tall.
The Brazilian was the guy who got choked down. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
so my buddy beat him.
Yeah.
And then my other buddy got choked out also. 2 of my buddies both got rear naked choked, Roger and Georgie.
Was that the fight against
Jacob
The
Rosal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jacob's we do all the marketing for Bloodline.
Is that his
So he trains with Cub and
him
Bloodline
and Chris McCarthy?
Oh yeah.
Him and
The main
Makate are,
event.
and then all
Which they
those
both got
boys
the
train
dubs.
together like right out here. So
Oh,
super
right.
close by.
Yeah.
But that card was crazy.
It was pretty wild.
It
It was pretty wild, yeah.
Do you think like with your experience, I know you just talked about fight streaks and how important it is and it can change your trajectory of like your career, but do you find it like harder now in the LFA, even if you become a champion, getting to the UFC?
Yes. I think LFA is definitely where all the prospects are. So you get to see, But I see a lot of people who have gotten the belt and prospects and never got called out. You know, I can think of a few guys. I forgot what their names are, but they're very talented, and the UFC never called them for a contender. You know, and I know a lot of guys in the contender who I don't know how they're even in the contender. You know, and I see a lot of guys in LFA who are champions. Like I don't know how they're not in the UFC. You know, the main event of LFA last night. I think he's Colombian or something like that.
Yeah.
Reyes versus Makate.
He won, right? I believe so.
No,
Makate won.
Chris won
by decision.
Makate?
Yeah.
He beat
Reyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Both those guys are really good.
Yeah,
I know Reyes, so I know if he beat him, he must be really good. Yeah. He might have a chance. Yeah, I think he's gonna have probably go to contender this next year.
But that's the thing. Like we have people we know too that are on these streaks in LFA, and like actually all of Bloodline, they're all holding like the titles.
Larry Douglas, he's a champion. He's had like 4 or 5 knockouts in a row, and he still has
one against Reyes.
Yeah, knocked Reyes out. Like he has the belt right now. He knocked Elijah.
Oh gosh, Jones.
He knocked him out as well.
His brother's
so
in
he's
the
doing
UFC.
super well, but
Crazy streak.
just like I don't know. I know there's gonna be a lot of people watching this show, so like. Nobody. I feel like nobody's figured out the UFC.
What does it take?
Sean Shelby. Like
I have no idea at this point. At a certain point because
I know you went through LFA. That's why I asked.
You've been through the same trajectory,
right? I was initially because I was telling you guys COVID. I was gonna have a multi-fight deal with Bellator actually. But this is what. Sometimes when something bad happens to you, it's actually better. Like it opens up a better door for you
for a reason.
Yeah, and so I thought I was gonna quit MMA because COVID happened. I got injured. I had this big fight in Bellator. I didn't go through, so I was in the dumps. And then my coach is like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Where do you want to go? Do you want to continue Bellator or what?" I'm like, "Dude, let's go UFC." It's like, then we got to go through LFA. I'm like, set up an LFA fight. Let's do this, And I think the biggest thing in LFA is like, if your guy's been winning lots of knockouts, he must be a performer. He must be exciting. I know all 3 of my fights in LFA, I did all 3 of them in like 7-8 months, but every one of them, the stadium went crazy, like exploded. Especially my last one went absolutely bonkers.
Where was it?
It was here in the Commerce Casino. Yeah.
It gets crazy in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's bonkers, And then because I was like I told that fight, I got close to losing and I came out and knocked him out. So it went crazy. But also I represented the Bay Area, he represented LA. The guy.
There was underlying beef.
Exactly. So they had a lot of hype going into this, a lot of media and stuff going into this. That same year, I believe SoCal won the NBA or NFL or something like that finals, and NorCal also won the finals on another sport. So they were trying to hype us up, me and Chase, to fight, and whoever wins either fights for the belt or goes to the UFC, But I was told if I fight him, there's a good chance that you might get called to contender UFC. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, they already have to have talked to you and stuff like that. Also, if you're very popular, it's another big thing, But I also know guys who are very popular or not getting called.
Don't get the call up.
You got to go through the contender or take a short notice fight.
Yeah.
That's how
honestly,
it is now.
too, watching your fights and watching your personality, I think that's something that UFC likes as well. Because I think you're good on the mic. I've seen you like do your dances and stuff. Like I've seen you like do some crazy stuff like that. So I think we always talk about like having a personality is like
it's huge,
so big. I feel like
you got to sell fights.
That's what I love. Honestly, growing up, I didn't have the most confidence. I always thought that because my name's Hyder, I was a little different from everyone, and I thought that how I was, I always get in trouble. I'm always such a troublemaker, and that me as a person isn't good. Like isn't like acceptable to be. In a professional sense or at work or whatever. But in MMA, it's so easy because I just get to completely be myself. I'm from the Bay Area. I can't help
rewarded.
But it is. And I love it. And you can't, as long as you're not saying, some crazy stuff. But even then, that's what's beautiful about MMA. I think do you. That's what I love about MMA. Do you. And, I'm not, I do like to talk a little bit, but I won't call anyone out of their name, like, or go low like that. But that's what I love about MMA because I don't know if I don't know if you saw this, but I did a Bay Area like interview, and this is what garnished me a lot of fans through the Contender, where they just started talking about the Bay Area. We fight, we dance, we do it all in the Bay. And if you're from the Bay, you feel me in that, you know. And a lot of people from the Bay like really felt me in that, and just like, you know, followed me in that, you know. And so I always try to represent the Bay Area culture big time. I'm also Filipino, so I always want to represent the Philippines as well. I believe I'm the first and only, and I want someone to fact check this because someone sent this, but I think I'm the only person in the UFC ever who's born in the Philippines to fight in the UFC.
Wow, dude,
you know?
that is awesome.
So someone fact check that for me, please. All right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are we ever gonna see you versus Manny Pacquiao like celebrity match?
I would never want to fight my hero, but
have you met him before?
maybe one. No, I haven't.
That would be crazy.
Dude, he's a legend.
See you guys train together.
That would be crazy.
You can make that happen, dude.
I would love to train with him, but I bet he's still really good for how old he is, you know. So.
And I was gonna ask you too. Talk about your upbringing, your family, your siblings, your parents. Like, talk to us about like your journey a little bit.
I was born in Cebu City. This is like, it's more more industrialized now, but back in the day they had. I was in a dirt road. I grew up in a dirt road. The last house on a dirt road with a bunch of stilt huts. Very third world, like beyond poor, like no clothes, whatever. But I lived in the last house. Don't get me wrong. We were like middle class, but I had the last house next to all the the shanty huts and whatever. So, and in a dirt road. But my dad was Muslim and my mom's Catholic. So when I grew up there, I was the only Muslim kid in the street. And my natural skin color is probably paler than you guys' all right? So everyone called me, I'm telling you, I'm pale, all right? It took me my whole life to finally get a tan. But everyone back then called me little white boy, you know? And
same.
And they
still trying
I think they still do. And then I got so I just got picked on a lot there, you know? And I remember all these kids threw a bunch of rocks at me and
are you serious?
And I had this stick, and I'm spitting this stick that I could bounce him off all the rocks to this karate stick. Shit. Anyways, I just get pelted, got a bunch of cuts and bruises, and I come back home, and my dad's a hard ass, right? So my dad's like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "Well, all these kids threw these rocks at me, you know, like I'm 5 years old. I'm 5 years old, 5, 6. The leader of the kids is 12 years old, you know?
Oh my.
And so I come back home with cuts and bruises, and my dad's like, "And you ran away?" I said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Don't ever run away again. That makes you a coward. That's the worst thing a man and anyone can be in this life. Show me how to make a fist," and told me where to punch him, and you go find the leader of the kids, you know?
Wow.
And then next day, I think it was the next day or later on that day, I went to the huts and went and found him. I went to go find him, you know? And the difference between a 5, 6-year-old and a 12-year-old is like 2 feet, you know?
Big difference.
That's a big
and
difference.
I'm scared, you know? I'm gonna fight. I still remember his name, Chris, you know? And I go to the stilt huts, and I know exactly. I gotta think with you know. And then I go to his hut, and his grandma was there. I'm like, "I want to fight Chris," and she's like to his grandma, you know. Like
what was the grandma's face?
The grandma started laughing at me. She's like, "Chris will kill you." You know? She's like, "Go, kid. You don't need to be doing all that," you know. And I teared up because I've never told an adult like, "I want to beat up your grandson," you know? And so I got up and I left, but right from then on, I never backed down. And so no matter what the odds are, except for like if it's like 10 guys, because I've had to fight 2-3 guys at a time, I've never backed up. So that's why I got in so many fights growing up. Like,
a lot of street fights.
Ton of fights. I've been in more fights, every race, every weight class.
Oh my gosh.
I've been in a fight in a moving car, a kitchen, damn near every pitch black. I had a crackhead as my referee, like all the craziest.
Crackheads as a referee.
I'm telling you, I had some stories, bro. So because I just had that built in me, I couldn't deal with no disrespect. I couldn't have anyone stare at me and me not say what's up, you know. So I'd always turn around every time a dog went to bark, and it's always like put me down. No matter how good or how high I would climb, it would put me in trouble.
And is that what led you into like training professionally? Like what? Or
you know
like
what?
when did you go into a gym and you were like, okay, I want to I wanted to learn how to really
control this.
Control it.
You know what? It was because my dad was abusive to me and my mom. So what happened is we left the Philippines to come here to the US, but my mom didn't tell my dad. We had to sneak to the airport overnight. And then like we went somewhere, told our dad something, and then we got to the airport and to leave for the US without telling my dad.
Just you and your mom?
My mom and my 2 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And then someone tipped off my dad. My dad ran through the airport, tried to stop us. Last time I saw him, I gave him a hug and said bye, you know? And then I came here to the US, 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, then I came here to the US because my grandma and my uncle and aunts already established themselves in Marin, you know, which is a pretty nice place, honestly. But it was 15 people in a 3-bedroom house. That's the only reason we could live in the suburbs, you know? And so, but because of my mom's boyfriends, my sister's boyfriends, I always felt like I was the man of the house, the boy of the house, and I needed to make sure I took care of them because no one was going to take care of my sisters and my mom. I have a bunch of other stories that pertain to that, but let's just put it this way. I realized no one's taking care of my sister and my mom but me. So my friend who got really good at fighting said, hey, come join my karate kickboxing gym. So I joined. And then freshman year in high school, everyone's like, dude, you need to come play football, you know? And so I'm like, all right. So they had me as running back sophomore year. I'm like, what do I do? You know? And during one of the scrimmage games with each other, I juke a bunch of the guys, throw the ball down, you know? And the middle linebacker came out behind me and boom, tried to attack me from behind. But in midair, I grabbed, because I have all these like instincts from growing up like that. And so I threw him over me in midair, landed on mount, and was going to punch him in the face. I just gave him a little tap. And afterwards, he's like, you got to come wrestle. So then I started wrestling.
That dude,
the same dude can't come wrestle with me.
Yo.
We're still best friends this very day now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're still best friends this very day ever
That could have gone a little bit different if you threw that punch.
Exactly. So we
That's a butterfly effect right there.
Exactly. And bro, I don't know if you're you're only raised, you're poor in a place like San Rafael, Marin. You think it's only happening to you. So I always felt like a loser growing up, you know? And so, but in wrestling, one weekend, I got a medal, 2 weeks, another medal. This medal told me I'm not a loser, Mom. I'm not a loser, fam. Like, this made me feel like a winner. So that's what really attracted me to being competitive in sports and as an outlet for my rage also.
And you haven't seen your dad since, like,
I haven't seen
at
him
all.
since.
Has he reached out to you since your success?
My dad died 2 weeks before my last fight. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Gosh.
Yes. And I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, and I want everyone, like, people who don't have a dad need to understand this also. We're all human beings. And no matter how good of a person you are, if you have an addiction, it can change you to a good man, to a bad man. My dad, when I was younger, I missed him. Then I started getting, then the years would go by, then I was bitter and I was mad, you know, and I hated him, you know. I would even tell people my dad's been dead, you know, because it's easier for me to cope with that. But as I got older, I realized like the Bible says, the son sins, the father sins, the son sins. You know, apple don't fall far from the tree, right? I'm just like that guy. You know, I'm so similar to him because my dad was like, I'm not like him per se because he's a gambler. I gamble with my life in fighting, you know. He gambles with money. He's a womanizer. I'm not saying I'm a womanizer, but my dad was a big time womanizer, you know. And just kind of like a wild kind of guy, you know. And I see a lot of why I'm attracted to MMA and why I do a lot of certain things just like him. And so that's why I wanted that closure to get to know him. And I wanted after my last fight, I wanted to visit him this summer. But now that ship has sailed, because I just wanted to answer where did it go wrong and all that. Because, dude, even though he wasn't in my life, it's weird I just wanted that closure. And just because he wasn't there for me doesn't mean I want him dead, you know?
Hear his side of the story almost now that you're older.
Yeah, because now you're older, you just see things different, you know? And my dad was like, I remember growing up, my dad could grab a coconut and punch it one time and crack it open and we'd...
Wait, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's actually crazy.
My dad and my dad and my brothers are really big, by the way. My brother's 6'5". Wow. My dad's only 6 foot, but my uncle's 6'6". They're all really big and broad. You know, really big.
And you're like
guys.
5'9", right?
Yeah, and because my mom's Filipino, so he's short. You know,
dude.
And so
could have been a heavyweight.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know if I want to fight if I was a heavyweight though. That seems kind of like
different division, right?
You know,
That's
it's like
crazy.
I'm getting knocked out or we're just falling all over each other. You know,
True.
The aspect is different.
Yeah, it's
but your division's way more technical in my opinion.
way more technical.
Yeah.
But because that's more competitive.
Yeah.
Heavyweights, if you can move for as a heavyweight, you can get up. You can start at like 30 years old. You know, now like it's so competitive. You have to start when you're young and to have any chance at this. Yeah. So
That's a crazy story.
yeah. So and then but yeah, again. So I started wrestling. Right after wrestling, I joined jiu-jitsu, MMA. Had my first MMA fight when I was 16, 17 against some 24-year-old. Looked like an Aryan Brotherhood member guy, you know, super tatted and stuff like that. But like, you know, I dropped him, slammed him a bunch of times. He mounted me. It was a really good fight, you know, but it was a good fight. And then I was a troublemaker when I was a kid, you know, I'd sell drugs, fight people, stuff like that. So I got kicked out of school. And then my girlfriend at the time was going to UC Berkeley to be a doctor, you know. I don't know what she was doing with a guy like me.
That's crazy.
It always happens like that.
And so I was like, you know what? I'll start doing the college thing, you know. And I got fat. I got soft. I became a sheep, you know.
Damn.
And then like 5 years went by. I didn't train. And then I got fired from my job. And I sent all these ads out to get because I need to pay rent, and El Nino Gilbert Melendez gym hired me. I didn't even choose to be back in MMA. I just sent these ads out. It's almost like it chose me to be back in MMA. So I just took it as like a sign from God. And I was just
crazy.
like,
That's
let's
actually
see
crazy.
where we're
Everything in
at.
your life has just led you to where you are right now.
I guess
is crazy.
so.
It
You know,
has.
it's all been kind of like nothing I really chose. It was just something that I had to do. Like I felt like martial arts and training I had to do to protect my mom and sisters. Also, to sound to my bullies, I had a bunch of bullies, you know. But
And when you were 6 and you came here, you moved to the Bay Area.
yeah,
Okay, so you grew up in the Bay.
I'm pretty much a Bay kid.
Yeah, you are.
That's why I always be dancing and
Yeah.
and all that and represent. And the whole Bay Area thing, I don't know why, but ever since I was an amateur, they always chose me to represent the Bay Area. I never even I never chose to be part of MMA. I never chose to do the Bay Area, but ever since they always put me at the top, the event cards with me in the front as the Bay Area versus Central Valley, Bay Area versus LA, you
How
know?
far is Stockton too?
Stockton is like Central Valley.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
Bay
not like the
Area
Bay.
is
Okay,
like
okay,
Santa
okay.
Rosa, you know, like just where the water is, you
Yep.
know?
Who else is like a representative for the Bay Area, like when you were coming up as a fighter?
I know there's like, you know, Jake Shields and stuff like that. He's from like Santa Cruz, but you know, and Gilbert, my coaches, but they fight out of San Francisco, stuff
it.
like that. So
How far is that Santa Cruz or like how far is like the AKA gym or that's San Jose?
that's San Jose.
That's-
That,
yeah,
oh
so
no, that is Bay Area,
yeah.
but they're all from Russia. Yeah, know
No,
who
I know.
trains there.
I've
You
been-
know,
I've been
All the
there,
daggies
yeah.
out there?
Over there.
I
Yeah.
was over there. It was
Yeah,
one
he
of
went
the
to the gym.
craziest places I've ever been to.
Yeah.
That gym was nuts.
Oh, you went there back in the day?
No, I went there like 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
He was
3
with
months ago.
Kane.
Oh, really?
I was
Yeah.
with
Yeah, it
Kane
wasn't
and-
what it used to be, but I hear it's still pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
You're
even-
with Kane?
Yeah,
we showed a pod
Did he
with
go
Kane,
in
too.
or
yeah.
did
He's in jail right
Oh,
now.
wow, okay.
We
It
was, like, right
we
before.
filmed a podcast with Kane on Basement Talk probably like 6 months ago.
No, it was probably a year ago now.
Yeah,
Was
it was
it?
a little while
It was
ago.
a while ago.
But it was
Yeah.
fun. We got to go to his property and everything.
Oh, that's
Has a
cool.
cool place up there.
That's cool.
And
Where's
then-
that? It's like in San Jose also?
Yeah.
Gilroy.
Oh, yeah. Nice, nice.
The
And then we
garlic.
just recently we're filming a show for the Bare Knuckle Boxing TV.
Oh, nice.
Like we're producing a show, so one of the episodes we had to go back to Kane. So it was cool because we know
Like
him.
BKFC?
BYB Extreme.
Well, it's
Oh,
BKB
it's
now.
BKB Extreme
Oh,
now,
wow.
but yeah, it's just it's like they're all like
I'm
kind
not
of.
gonna lie, that bare knuckle stuff is a little bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. You know, I don't know if
Really?
I'd ever do it,
Dude,
but
that's
yeah,
crazy.
I like
I feel like
Well,
it's dangerous, bro.
a lot of the cuts is what I feel like I'd be good at it, but at the same time, I don't know if I could. It's all the cuts is what and the possibility of breaking your hand. You know?
Yes.
So that's the thing, you know.
No, it's sketchy.
I've had some fights where I've definitely hit people on the head and missed the head and hit the wall. You know, so
So Gilbert owns that gym.
He owns El Nino.
Okay, so you got hired from Gilbert, and then how old were you at that time?
23.
23. Yeah. And then did you just start training since you worked there?
I just started training. Yeah, I was 210 pounds. You know, I was 210. I know, on my size.
How?
You know, it's crazy. When I was 210,
I could.
He relates.
I know how it could slip away,
dude. It's crazy.
You said it.
For me.
You said it. Not us.
I see a Jack in the Box commercial.
I was super depressed.
Yeah. What was your like food when you were 210? What were you eating?
I just didn't work out. I just eat all the time and smoke a bunch of weed and just, but also
that's the combo.
I was probably like depressed and not like, dude, I would smoke cigarettes, you know, because I wasn't happy. And
Ripping
a
darts.
combination of all that is just going to slow your metabolism down. You're stressed and all that. So when I started training, I lost like 40 pounds in a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, because I would train twice. I would train and I would just take the bark there. I told myself, no matter what, you just get through this practice.
40 pounds in a month and a half.
In a month and a half.
That's like dangerous almost.
I know.
You were
a lot
crazy. You were an athlete too growing up, so I think getting your body back to where you know you can get it to, your body was like, okay, I know how to get back to where I'm at.
You know what? I thought, because I took so much time off, I wouldn't remember any of the moves. I could day one whoop so many people's ass. You know, like amateurs and pros. I couldn't believe it. The jiu-jitsu thing, no, you can't just take 5 years out of jiu-jitsu unless you've been training for 10 years and then already be good, you know? So striking and wrestling has always been natural to me because it's just athletic and explosive, you know? Jiu-jitsu is very technical, so it's not as intrinsic, maybe for some people. But yeah, I started training with Gil and Jake Shields. That's who I started with. And then I started training there, and then I just took it as a sign again. And now I'm undefeated. So I just want to see, you know, I'm a little bit older than some of the fighters. I'm 34 right now. But dude, I feel great. And when I was 21, I used to have a bunch of white hair. That's like 20 white hairs, like bunch of white hair. Because I was that stressed. Now I might have one. They have one like somewhere.
Wait, you reversed your white hair?
Yeah, I got the Benjamin Button, bro.
What?
The Benjamin Button.
Went back in time. Dude, Filipinos age so well though.
Yeah. But also, if you take care of yourself and
I have Filipino friends, they look great.
Yeah. And then they hit 70, then they like raising up. Yeah, no. Filipino folks, they don't eat well. All right.
Yeah,
a lot of pork, a lot of oil. You know, I tell people I should get extra credit for making my weight, you know, for being an island person. I mean, it's hard for us, bro. So but yeah, so yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and I can't wait for what's next.
So let's talk about like you getting into the UFC Contender Series.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like? How was that journey?
I was very excited. So during my Contender fight, I don't know if you ever seen that meme. It's like, oh, your opponent pulled out. Here's your new opponent. The guy has just a beard with no mustache. His last name ends with a B or a Z. You know, it's like, here's a new opponent. You're like, oh my God, because you know everyone's scared of these Muslim wrestler guys. Guess what I got for my Contender fight? I was like, I would be fighting a Muslim wrestler dude, you know. And he was a really good fighter from Cage Warriors. I think he was in the Turkish wrestling team.
He was Turkish.
Yeah, he was Turkish.
I watched that fight. Yeah.
What people don't know about that fight, and this was another bonehead decision of mine, is the night before the fight, I ate sushi, right? You should not eat sushi, especially in a landlocked place like Vegas, especially before an athletic event, right? I came back home and started puking my brains out, right?
Oh.
The day of my fight, I can only stomach a waffle the whole day. And if you saw that fight, it was grueling. I also have the most takedown defenses in the Contender because of that fight.
Wow.
He shot 24 times and I defended like 24 times. I defended 18 of them, you know? Just to put things in perspective, when Marab fought Khabib's cousin or brother, Umar,
yeah.
in 5 rounds, he shot 30 times and broke Umar. Damn. This guy shot 24 times in 3 rounds, you know? So I had to defend so much more takedowns, but look how tiring that was for Umar. Oh, yeah. And he's been wrestling his whole life, you know?
That's like what
so my fight is I stop all his takedowns and I out-grapple the grappler in that fight. And I feel like a lot a lot of strikes.
And you were sick.
And I had food poisoning. Yeah. So I think that's why you got that I hate that fight. I hate that fight because of that. But at the same time, that fight changed something in me.
It's that little Muslim you got and you
yeah, exactly.
In, right?
That helped me. That helps your wrestling skills.
Yeah.
What was it like training with Chihuihuis? I saw that recently.
Oh yeah, Raul is a great training partner. He's I'm actually gonna see him later. We're gonna go watch the fights and stuff like that.
Is he local?
Know? He's just in town, you know. And so we're gonna go hang out for a bit. I actually knew Raul when he was younger. It was like 15, 16. Damn. He used to train at Dave Terrell's gym. What? I would go up there.
Is he the youngest right now too in the UFC?
I don't know if he's still the youngest, but he was the youngest.
His marketing is so good.
Yeah, he's
doing unbelievable.
He goes viral all the time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I want to bring up a little viral moment of yours, that Laura Sanko, her buttons popping off after that thing. When did you like see that clip, and were all the girls on you after that? They're like, damn, it's got girls' buttons popping during the fight.
Laura Sanko, don't forget the guy who popped your button.
Yeah, oh God.
With no hands.
Yeah, no. I thought that was funny for her to post about that.
Yeah.
But you know what's even funnier? If you watch that video, you know who was screaming like a girl?
Who?
Sorry to say this. It was DC. In that video, you hear someone like, ah. For me to have given DC to make that sound and Laura Sanko to pop those buttons made my world.
All-time reaction.
One fight, I was like, you guys are going to remember me for that one, you know? Yep. So, yeah, that was pretty dope.
Dude, little stuff like that helps, too.
Yeah.
Like,
DC's probably trying to claim credit for the bun popping, huh?
No, that was all Hyder.
Next time they're there, I need to tell her to make sure she, gets a few more
Strap
buttons
it on next time, Laura.
Yeah.
So
get it right.
Who do you see in front of you in your division? Like who do you?
I want someone in top 15, top 20. I just accepted a fight, so it's a really big fight. Can I talk about this?
We could say I don't think. How long do we have till it's announced?
Like probably a week.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be announced this week.
It won't come out before that.
Yeah. You can announce it.
If it does, we can cut it.
This will be out in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just don't leak it. All right.
No.
We got you.
We would never do that,
because until it's inked, it's inked. But you know what? Yeah. So check it. I just got this big fight. I've been telling, and I've been going on media. I've been telling Shelby, my management, like I would love to be in an arena. I think if I did that 100 round, the 38 combo in arena, I'd be huge right now because everyone would be going berserk, But they finally gave me what I want. I feel like I've earned it, and so I'm fighting International Fight Week, June 28th. Against,
Let's go.
Thank you guys. I'm so excited. You're gonna see me knock one out the park. I guarantee you guys that. I'm fighting Nathaniel Wood.
Let's go.
Something crazy about this is a year and a half ago, like 2 fights before, they had us fighting. ESPN, UFC had me, Nathaniel Wood, fighting. But I was ranked like 80 or 90 back then. He was ranked in the 20s or 30s.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, heck yeah, let's do it, But it was completely by accident. We didn't sign anything. UFC and ESPN just had us like randomly fighting because all these Instagrams started posting us. And then it built a little hype on the fight. Anyway, 2 fights later between both of us, we beat these 2 guys. Our destinies cross again. And here we are, International Fight Week. Another funny coincidence is we both beat French guys our last fight. So, and I'm not about to lose to an English guy on American soil. So
let's go, baby.
So
that's huge.
Tune in June 28th, you guys.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be so big.
You mentioned that 38 strike combo. Talk about like that a little bit and what was going through your head. Like you're just throwing. That was crazy.
So again, I look at my punches like guns, That was like a banana clip automatic, And I did a 3-punch combo like once or twice before that, and he countered me because I was trying to go too wide, right? So my coach told me the night before, he's like, hey, he's going to look to counter you. So first, first he said this. Every fight, he takes the center. Whatever you do, you make sure you take that center. Don't let him get the center. So I ran out, jumped, and did a flying kick on him. Boom, and I took the center. Now he's in a place where he's never been. He usually wants to lead the dance, touch the gloves, and start going off on you, And then I do these 2 combos and he counters me. So I was like, all right, do what coach told you. Keep it short between the shoulders. Pick up your elbows. So when he looks to counter, he's going to hit your arms, you know? And what I told myself was like, next time you connect on him, don't throw power. Just throw a lot fast. Because if I throw power and I miss, he has like a bunch of knockouts, like quick knockouts, you know? So he has good power in his hands. So when I'd miss, I wouldn't be off balance if I don't throw that much. That's why I threw so many punches, but wasn't putting all my power into it. And that's because it helped that he was also moving away from the punches, so he didn't take the grunt of it. I felt like if he stayed stationary, he would have been asleep. And so I just kept it coming. And I'm not going to lie, after the fight, when they said I did a 38 punch combo, I was like, what? I thought I threw 8 punches. I literally thought I threw 8 punches, 8 or 10 punches. I wasn't even tired afterwards, you know? So I was like, wait, what? I was just, like I tell people, God mode, dude. You just in the zone. You don't think. You don't always do what's textbook, which you should try to. But sometimes you got to do what's necessary, you know? And that was one of those fights where I did that was necessary. A lot of people think I don't punch hard because he took those punches. And but I'm actually glad the referee caught him on the way down because if I knocked him to sleep after all those punches, I think that would have been it for his career because that's a lot of CTE to get
damage,
punched that many times and put to sleep. That's bad. That's a lot off your fight life. You know?
A month-long headache.
I'm actually curious too because with that fight as an example, and then even your other fights, I've seen you just snap like that. Is there like a moment in the fight where you're like, okay, I notice he's hurt, where it makes you do that, or like, did you know it was time to just go off on him?
I have a really good feeling. I have like I'm good at taking score while the fight goes on. I can also just make you work that much more than me, you know, and stay really calm. Another thing is like I can hear sometimes when they're squeezing me. Huffing and puffing, they're squeezing with their legs, they're squeezing with their arms. I've had a few knockouts like this where the guys are trying their hardest to submit me and they just end up blowing their arms out. And I'm like, all right, just hold on for a second. And once he's done with this, you're going to knock him out. And that's how I knock out a lot of people. And also in the training room, a lot of people try to hold me down a lot for a long time. And once we get up, I can usually drop them because they're so exhausted from trying to hold me down with their arms and body that they're weakened. So that's usually how I can knock people out.
This is a weird question too, but even when you see blood, does that motivate you to like go harder too?
Yeah, I've had a fight where this guy almost got me in a choke, and I got out and I'm like, boom, and his face went there and blood went there. I'm like, oh, nice, boom, blood, you know. And then but guys, who in your corner matters, all right? And your coaches. And what I mean by that is they need to prioritize your health first. I have a gym in San Rafael. It's called Hurricane Athletics and Combat. And a lot of how I cultivate their training and what the guys who will compete is because I've been through this, you know. I've been competing day by day, you know, and now it's not all about beating your brains out, you know. But also when I do corner these guys, I prioritize their health first. Unless there's big money on the line or UFC on the line, just throw in the towel, you know, because I've clipped the wings of guys who are super talented, but they were young, you know, black belt world champion. I've fought a kid who was a jiu-jitsu world champion and undefeated Muay Thai, heck of big, strong trainer, Alex Pereira, savage.
Damn.
Not the same, you know. Some of these people never fought after me, you know, because the corner did not throw in the towel soon enough. It's, dude, we're barely getting paid. Why are you letting him get beat like this? You know, I've like fractured someone's face completely, like their whole face, you know? And guess who's in their corner? His own dad. You know, like, what do you tell your wife after that, you know?
Do you think it's a pride thing?
It's a pride thing. Don't give up. But I think a lot of coaches and trainers, especially in fighting, it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of that, you know? So but I feel like, and I want a lot of coaches and fighters and trainers, I just see this way too much, is, dude, throw in the towel for the guy. The guy got kids. He took the fight short notice. If he's getting beat, what are the odds of him coming back from that if he's getting dropped, you know? Prioritize the guy's health, because if you don't, whatever he gets paid, just gonna go towards that. You know.
Hey guys, yes, I'm on a private jet, and none of this would be possible without our sponsor, Zill Media. If you need any social media or any content done, or even start a podcast like ours, they are the best in the business. Go to zillmedia.com and mention Basement Talk for a discount on their services. Now let's get back to the episode. Let's get off this fake jet. Go get back to the episode.
No.
Well, would you let one of your coaches throw in the towel for you then in any of your fights?
Don't throw in the towel for me. Not for me. Okay,
that's the thing. It's different when like it's you, right?
Tough. That's
like,
such a tough.
Because I always train people. I'm like, I don't want combos more than 3 or 4 punches. But like, coach, but you, I'm like, don't do as I do, okay?
You're a hypocrite.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, throw in the towel if I'm like, my arms hanging out, I'm choked out, you know, like
out.
stuff like that.
It's either win or die. Win or die.
Other than that, you know, because the thing about me is like I'm one of those fighters. I feel like I can be doggone tired about, except I've shown this before, like close to death and still knock you out. You know, I just one of those fighters that you can never count me out, even to the last fucking bell.
Hey, I wanna like do a little game with you. Have you heard of like smash or pass?
Let's do it.
But you know how like the daggies say like smesh? So we're gonna do like smesh or pass. I'm gonna name some guys like in the top 15. You tell me like smesh or pass.
I don't know. That sounds kind of sus, bro.
But like that's why I gave you like the rundown.
Smesh or pass.
Okay, smesh or pass. Arnold Allen.
Smash.
Smesh. Smesh. Okay, Jan Silva.
Smash.
Smesh. Bryce Mitchell.
Smash.
Yair Rodriguez.
Smash.
Aljamain Sterling.
Smash.
Josh Emmett.
Smash.
Dan Ige.
Smash.
Everybody. Smash.
Actually, Dan Ige, only because my coach Jake coaches at Extremes. That's the one I might pass. You know, he's another island boy too. Not that I give it, you know. You know, but
I never back down.
Yeah.
But still, I can.
It'd be a good fight. Don't get me wrong, it'd be a good fight. All those guys I would definitely fight. You know, Aljamain's crazy. He's coming from 35s and he's looking really good at 45s.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy to fight. Although other guys will stand and bang with me, you know.
100%.
He's the jiu-jitsu wrestling combination. Him and Movsar, that's what makes them very dangerous. And guys like Khabib and Islam, you know, that super very well conditioned, super strong, and got the jiu-jitsu wrestling thing going on. That's a very powerful combo.
This is a crazy time for your weight class too.
It's
I feel
crazy.
like this is like the best time. Everything going on, just all the fighters. Like
that's what I was saying. I was saying like, dude, Conor cannot come up this weight class. Like how it went. Look at the guy last fought. He's 6 feet tall, long, rangy lefty.
Dude, it's insane.
Conor would have such a hard time with him moving.
When I saw that face, I was watching the face off too, and I was like, "What the heck? This guy's massive."
Yeah, and you know what? He's actually a lot stronger than he looks too.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole fight. I can't tell because that fight. I tore my MCL 2 weeks before the fight. My bicep and shoulder was torn.
Wow.
I'm recovered now, but my whole camp I was injured. That whole camp, you know. Damn. And so I was a little more deflated. It was hard for me to get my weight down a little bit quicker. But honestly, that fight, I wasn't so conscious about winning or losing. Honestly, I go to every fight. Unquestionably, I fight to win. Unquestionably, I never give up. Unquestionably. So I never have to address that because it's just how I am, you know? I was looking for the release. I was looking for, like, just to knuckle up with someone, get into a good old fist fight. Because all the stuff I've been going through, I don't know if you heard my post-fight and stuff like that. The last 6-7 months before the fight with my best friend dying and my dog. And like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, my dog really messed me up, dude.
That's heavy.
That messed me up, dude. Like,
what dog was it?
It was a American bully, you know. But what made me, the reason I love that dog so much is because my mom lives in, if you know where Magazine Street in Vallejo is, it's where E40's from. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I moved there when I was 16, and when you go from the suburbs to there, you're like, holy shit, you know, like this is crazy.
It's like a culture shock.
Let's okay, I'll tell you guys one story about Vallejo. How about that?
Okay? Yeah.
A day after Christmas, I because I just come home. I've been on my own since I was 16. You know,
Wow.
I've been by myself since I was 16. I just come home and I'm watching TV at 4 a.m. and I see these lights and I see my wall go boom. Because there's a living room and then my room, right? I see the wall move and I open the door and I see a car backing out of my bedroom, you know?
Whoa.
A guy flew in and crashed his car into my bedroom, you know? And if I didn't stay up to watch TV, I would be dead right now, you know?
Damn.
And so he has all his debris on him. I'm like, no. He's not getting away with this. So I ran out and the car's swerving like crazy on my front yard, you know, with all the stuff on it because he can't see. And it's like one of those big body Buicks. I'm like, all right, these might be some dudes with some guns, you know?
Yeah.
So I grabbed the fence from behind and I broke the back window. I saw it's one dude. And I threw the plank on the back of his head and it hits the back of his head. Boom, hits the steering wheel and then stops him, right? And I open the door, I grab him, I throw him on his head, on his back and put my foot on his neck, you know?
Wow.
It took me everything not to kill this guy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So I called the cops and they arrested him or whatever.
Damn.
But yeah, there's just like, I have like a bunch of stories like that, but Vallejo was pretty wild, you know?
Wow.
And it's definitely a culture shock. But, you know, when you can hold it down in Vallejo like that, you can hold it down in a lot of places for sure. You know,
100%.
especially if you're different from anyone else and you got to earn everyone's respect. You got to prove it almost twice as much because everyone's going to try you.
Do you think that adversity like that makes a good fighter?
Absolutely. I think adversity makes a strong person, period. You know, I feel like we all have ours and we can choose to confront it, meet the challenge head on, or you can let it run your life, you know? But like I tell people, and I feel like the reason why I don't have as much white hair anymore is because I don't take shit. I don't kiss no ass, you know? Every time I tell my friends this, every time you take shit and kiss ass, your testosterone drops, you know?
Estrogen.
So don't do that. Then you get your higher estrogen. So don't take no shit and don't kiss no ass. Give people their props, you know? You know, you could totally do that. But I remember in jobs I was working, I just the day by day, and to be told, especially disrespectfully, hurts my soul. So I was like, you know what? This is part of the reason why I turned pro. I was like, I'm going to pro. Let's see what happens. I'd rather do this than go work for this guy, see what I can do. And I told myself, just give yourself a few years in this, give it all you got. And here I am now. So I'm pretty happy where it's going.
Amazing. And like, how does it feel being in the UFC at this time with like the president, like Elon Musk, Zuck now, like all these crazy people that are watching these fights, every main events, like
Whole crowd is A-list.
like how does it feel to be part of that kind of, it's like a whole movement. I feel like the whole world is kind of watching the UFC now.
Dude,
and you're at a time where you're about to crack the top 15 in one of the most popular sports in the world.
And undefeated.
Dude, did you know 28 undefeated fighters beginning this year, 22 of them have lost?
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm going to be the last one standing, you guys. All right?
Yes, sir.
I am. But anyway, it's surreal, you guys, honestly. And it's weird because I'm in this thing, but I'm still a fan, dude. I'm like,
I know.
I can't be a fan of this guy because I might have to whoop his ass, bro.
Yeah.
Like Calvin Kattar. Like I said, I beat him, but I like Calvin Kattar. I like him. I can still beat his ass, you know, but I really do, you know. It's crazy because I was at the PI and I'm like, sometimes I forget I'm a UFC fighter too, and I try to have like, you know, be a little boss, but man, I saw Johnny Walker. What's up, Johnny Walker, bro?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
You did some dance moves with Johnny Walker.
I came up to him and he started doing his thing, and so it was funny, but it's surreal because just as much as I'm a fan, I am in this thing to compete and fight these guys. So I just make a rule. I can't be a fan of anyone in featherweight or lightweight, okay? That's fair, But honestly, no matter what, with all these guys I fight, I got respect for them also because we have the same dream, you know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just when we get in there, we just fight. As long as you're not disrespectful towards me, it's all good.
It's competition.
You know? It is what it is, you know. We can hype the fight a little bit. I don't mind that, you know, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to all that. And I feel like life, I couldn't go one day without confrontation growing up. I just was always in beef with someone. I always had a mouthpiece. I'd always be running my mouth, had a bad temper. And I remember this one time. I keep sharing these stories, dude.
No, they're good.
Yeah.
I remember this one time. Someone clipped the brakes on my car, right? And I'm driving, and I'm like almost crashed a bunch of times. And I sent it to my buddy's dad's mechanic shop. He's like, 30 years I've been doing this. I've never seen this before. Someone intentionally clipped your brakes on both lines, you know? Oh. But I was in so much beef with so many people. I'm like, who could it be? You know? Because I remember I beat up this one fake gangster dude and this other guy. And like at this point, I was like, dude, you gotta get away from this, Hyder. Like, you're always in beef with someone. You don't know who's your enemy. You gotta look around your back all the time. I'm kind of sick of it, you know? And so I that's what kind of led me to and also people didn't want to invite me anywhere because I was just too crazy and always starting shit. So I started to change my behavior a little bit.
Did you get paid for it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not fighting unless it's for money now. Yeah.
Smart.
You know.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like illegal now for you, right? To like get in a.
Is that real though? It's
registered weapons.
What is like the rules of that? Not saying you're gonna do anything crazy, but like,
I mean, Armand punched a fan. I don't.
But if someone comes up to you in the streets and like,
you will.
I don't know.
You would be held a little bit more liable, honestly. I actually did get in trouble for something like that back in the day, and it's just like, dude, they're gonna look at you and persecute you. Because, oh, you're a fighter, you have a propensity for violence and stuff like that. You know, you didn't do anything. You know, they got dropped or whatever, but they're just gonna look at you that way. However, it's really easy to hurt someone when you're trained and they're not. You know, the last altercation I've gotten in was because of my other buddy who's a fighter. He's dancing with this dude's girl. You know, a dude wants something to say to him. They go outside, and this guy's friend goes up behind my buddy, starts putting him in a choke. You know, and like this guy's really big, so I'm like, so I go behind him and start hitting him in the face and pool of blood, picked him up, slammed him. You know. And then 3-4 bodyguards grab me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to jail, you know?
You're caught.
And my friend is a savage. So he's like, but he's hilarious too. He's like, leave my friend alone, you know? Like, kids do that. Yeah. But he's a grown-ass man, you know? And then in 1 second, ding, 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 all security guards are asleep, knocked out, you know?
Whoa.
Because that's how dangerous it is when you fight a real fighter like that. Not just regular people, 4 security were out in one punch. He goes in one punch.
Are you
each.
freaking kidding
all
me?
All 4 who was holding me, I was like, okay. And they're all asleep, you know? Wow. And my friend just gives him one. And then he goes outside, tells the guy, I don't want to fight. Knocks this guy out, knocks this guy out.
They're all just sleeping.
I head kick, knock out this guy, knock out this guy. So we knock out like 12 people. Just me and him.
What the fuck?
I know, I'm telling you.
Crazy.
So it's like a crazy, like a movie thing. Like you just give everyone just one touch. Boom, put him, and he's
when you started hitting like a couple people and they just kept falling asleep, you're like, wait, what's happening?
You would think the other fools would not come at you. After 6.
Yeah, after that, because
like
everyone's drunk
you in
and
the
wild, and then afterwards, but so.
No wonder you want to do bare knuckle.
Well, I head kicked this guy. He went to sleep, and he's asleep for like 30 minutes. So I thought I killed him, you know? I'm losing my absolute mind.
That'll ruin your life.
Told my ex-girlfriend, like, can you please check on him? Like, I got to run or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And then he finally gets up. He's okay. Everything's all good. But right then and there, I was like, I don't care what my pride is or whatever it is. I am not getting to anything else. So nowadays, when people, like I was in Vegas at a pool party, this guy went up to me. He's complimenting me, but aggressively. I don't want, this is how I am now. I work too hard to be where I'm at. I can't get in no trouble. So I just get up and I leave, dude. You know?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that though, aggressively? Like,
he was like, bro, you looking fucking great. Like hella, like
that shit's annoying,
like
dude.
I'm like, dude, get away.
Like grabbing you.
Yeah, I'm like,
dude.
But
I always
it's almost
get
like passive aggressive. Like,
there's for sure a girl around. He was just like putting on an act and shit.
Something like that, you know.
Like Zach, when he sees girls, he just starts doing backflips for some reason.
They fuck with it though.
You gotta do a few tricks, you know.
We've had a lot of fighters on, and they say like, especially like fighters with like a good record, you're undefeated. Are there people like in the gym, like maybe a random or somebody who goes to the gym that like want to prove something because you're undefeated, like when you're training?
Every day.
I
I get that from boxer. I get boxers who message me like, yo, let's work. I want to see what's up. You know, I go over there, I go box you, you know. I feel like I'm the one of the few guys, like I'll roll with black belts, jiu-jitsu black belts, D1 wrestlers, college wrestlers, box amateur and pro boxers, spar with world champion Muay Thai fighters and stuff like that. There's very few MMA fighters who roll with black belts and can go box a national champion and go spar a world champion Muay Thai fighter and hold their own in all those in wrestling. I think people also underestimate my wrestling too. Like, because I go wrestle with some D1 guys and wrestlers, and I'm not saying I'm not too shabby. So you just don't get the bonus wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you got to use what you're good at. And if everyone's super good in grappling or whatever, my strength, as you can see, is like striking, but I got some hands, you know. So
and power,
yeah, exactly.
38 punches, those hands.
I give you 1 or I'll give you 100. It doesn't matter, whatever it takes to get the job done. But
who do you think is like the most overrated fighter in the featherweight division right now?
Overrated? Oh man, everyone's so fucking good, bro. Like everyone's really good.
Your next opponent?
No, my next opponent's pretty good.
I'm joking.
We're building the hype.
He's pretty good. John Silva's pretty good, but look, let's just put it this way. Before he fought Bryce Mitchell, if you look at his opponents' combined record, it's 50-35.
Really?
Yeah. Like, Drew Dober's good, but he has 17 losses, okay?
Yeah.
Drew Dober's good, but he has 17 losses. Melsik Bagdasaryan, I was going to fight him. He didn't fight in like 2 years. He has like 3 losses. You know, he's 8-3. And the first guy is not that great. You know, like anyone can knock him out, honestly. So my last 3 combined record is 35-5.
Wow.
Yeah, so the last 3 opponents I fought are really good, you know, and big guys also. So that's one thing people need to factor in is like Zhang Li, he's going to fight tonight, which I'm excited to see. And my last opponent, they're pretty sizable dudes. And nowadays, this is what MMA is looking like. You get these guys who are not just great fighters, but great athletes too, you know, with wide frames, you know. So, yeah, man, I'm just saying, after this fight and a couple fights, you guys are going to see something crazy from me.
100%.
This next fight especially.
100%.
You know who I really want to see you go up against? And I don't know where he's at in the rankings. I think you're definitely ranked higher. But Danny Silva, I don't know if you've seen him coming through, but man, he's got hands, and we've had him on the show, and
that would be an exciting
I think
fight.
He's a featherweight too.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen him.
Gosh, that would be a crazy fight.
It would be a great fight. He's from Santa Ana, like Gilbert. So I got respect for Danny, and shout out to Danny and Gil, for the Santa Ana boys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I'd prefer we don't fight just because of that, because he has a good connection
you guys are
with
tied
Gil.
together, yeah.
But dude, you put money in front of me, I'll fight whoever the hell. You know, put
Doesn't
a
matter.
good chunk of change. I'll fight your grandpa. Okay, give me some. I'll do it. All right. So
have you seen that league where like the one guy fights 3 girls in like Russia?
dude, that's wild, bro. Yeah. I seen like a midget versus, or what was it, like an old drunk guy versus some fat guy or something like that.
It's so funny.
Only over there, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
don't do anything
because
over
now
there.
you start. They better not start stuff like that here. I mean, there's power slap, you know,
That shit,
but
yeah.
No,
you're
it's a
gonna
different
dilute
level.
it. You're gonna saturate it, you know, and
Some of those chicks fighting are bad though.
yeah. Oh, just power slap?
And power slap?
But both power slap, Russia.
Really? Is it?
It's pretty
Yeah.
exciting to watch. All I know is I want to be the first one to slap, though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
how
wanna
do you
have to
get
take the
that?
slap.
We had a power slapper on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a heavyweight.
He's gonna.
too.
I think he's gonna
really
be champ.
Was his hand like
He's
this
like
big?
top 5.
We had him
he's
slap like a
huge.
watermelon,
We'll show you
like
Oh,
a
really?
bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
it was
we had
crazy.
him,
Dude,
like,
he was
slap-
splitting fruits in half. It was,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
A watermelon?
Fruit ninja.
Dude,
Jesus.
he was super
Bro, it
cool.
was
though.
I wonder
actually
how big
wild.
his hand has to be.
They were-
It's
Dude,
pretty
it's-
big. It's like
they're
it's not
thick,
even like the
too.
length. It's like it's like
How-
thick, bro.
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's got a mitt.
Was it that Russian cabbage guy? That big old Russian dude?
Who are
No,
you
but
talking
I've
about?
seen that guy.
Yeah, him and that Hawaiian dude seem like
Big
the
Hawaiian.
biggest dudes, you know?
Yeah.
I think having a beard helps with that.
Right?
I
You got a little
think so, too.
Get a
cushion.
little padding.
They
you
both
know?
have beards
That's
too.
true.
Yeah. You're big and I think also being a little chunky, a little layer right there.
Yeah, you got some
Big
beards.
Because
Mac-
I was
Not right
telling-
on the
has-
jaw.
Big Mac has that chunk.
a beard.
Yeah.
And
I was telling people this, like, dude, the guys who are actually harder to hurt in the body have a little layer.
Yeah.
The people who I find with a small torso, super shredded, are really easy to hurt in the body.
That's
Straight liver
interesting.
shot.
Yeah. Really interesting because they have a small torso. They're so lean. And I forget. I think Kevin Holland versus Fluffy. I remember the commentator was like, hey, you got really lean for this fight, but that could make you weak in the body. Boom, gets knocked out in the body.
Yeah.
First thing, I was like, I was thinking the same exact thing before that. Like, he got super cut and lean, but sometimes they'll take away from how durable you are.
Bro, I don't last as long, probably.
Somebody would break my ribs. My ribs are like right here. I always... That's
I think I broke Kobe's
yeah,
rib.
Like you get the cushion.
I don't know. I'm gonna get it checked and then I'll text you.
Let me know.
Yeah, you gotta give him an update.
I'll let you know what happens.
Hyder, who do you think your toughest opponent was of all time right now?
I've had some tough ones. My contender one, because it was so laborsome.
Maybe even a street fight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one. This is probably my hardest fight. I'm not gonna lie, because I always get in fights because growing up, I would have like some really cute girlfriends, right? Guys want to be like, try to put you in place or whatever. Anyway, my ex-girlfriend was pretty damn cute, And I'm sitting at a bus stop. We're in downtown Oakland, really late at night, right? Waiting for a bus. And this big dude looks like a football player guy. He's trying to punk me in front of my girlfriend, make me look weak,
What'd he say? What'd he say?
He's like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, blah, blah. I'm like, what? What'd you say? He's on the phone. What'd you say? I'm like, I wasn't talking to you, bro. Like, what? Like, I wasn't even talking to you, man. Like,
and he doesn't know you're a fighter.
He did. Dude, at the time, I wasn't even fighting. I was like 19 years old. I stopped training and fighting. I had no muscle or anything. And this guy was big. And next thing we know, he's trying to punk me. And next thing you know, we're wrestling in the middle of the road,
Damn.
Because I would not back down. Again, I told you, I wouldn't back down. This guy's like scary,
Yeah.
And very explosive. But people in Oakland, they grew up in the streets. They have some moves. They got uncles and brothers. This guy knew how to wrestle. He was rolling up my shirt and did this thing that could tie my coat, my shirt.
How big was he?
Like 6'6", 220.
That's pretty big.
Athlete,
big boy,
football player.
Yeah.
Because he came from Laney, from football.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I know. He's also very explosive. And he's rolling up my shirt. And I can't move, and then
got you in like a shirt, Nelson?
And he threw him in the ground. I got rolled up over, and then we started fighting, right? Fight's gonna be hard when the guy starts pumping out jabs and moving his head. I shoot a single, he has a whizzer stuffing my head. We had like an MMA fight.
It's a 5-round fight in the street,
dude. It was, and I keep telling this story because it's a really funny story, and it was at night in Oakland, and we had a crackhead as a referee.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What was he doing?
He was just like, oh, you're fighting. And then I'm like, okay, you guys go, blah, blah, because all these bombs are watching. This is midnight in front of the Supreme Court, like all these houses. So we're fighting for so long. And then I think I threw him on his back in the middle of the street, and all the cars are stopped, and everyone in the car could not believe that I was on top of this dude just beating, because this guy's huge,
Yeah.
And
oh my God,
I was just beating up this dude, and and then at the end, after I beat him, the referee, the crackhead raised my hand. All right,
No
way. And they were all saying, "That's the best fight we've ever seen." Everyone's like, "They're absolutely." So we gave
got a
these
crowd?
bum fans, yeah, exactly. And then
did like the crackhead Bruce Buffer come out?
Yeah,
bum belt.
And on the left,
yeah,
whatchamacallit. But after that fight, I puked.
Wow.
We fought for like 40 minutes straight.
No way.
Yeah, I've had. We like puke, and I was like, wow, that was the most tiring fight I've ever had. I've never puked from any fight,
right?
but that. Yeah, I won. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it was just like an attrition fight at that point, So
what's your street fight record?
Dude, I've never lost a one-on-one fight.
Wow.
I've only lost.
Oh,
I've only lost one fight as an amateur that I actually won. I actually had mono during the fight.
Damn.
And I still won. I don't even know how I lost that fight, but they gave it to the guy. But I took that as a learning lesson. Don't underestimate your opponent. Condition your butt off. And that was the last time I lost, and that's the last time I'll ever lose. Right? And but in a street fight, I fought a lot, and I've never lost a fight. That's why it's hard for me. That's why I'm very confident about fighting, because I never lost, and I will always find a way.
Actually, I don't want to. I was just gonna say, even like, because you see people, your last fight, even the guy looked destroyed after he lost. I mean, that devastated him. Do you ever even think about that though? How you would handle a loss?
Yeah.
Because being undefeated, that's a tough thing to even like. It's something you shouldn't think about though, but you know, you have to maybe because you don't want to handle it the wrong way.
Yeah, the practicality of everything, and you got to look at things in the reality, but you can't let it affect your mind or head. You know.
Yeah.
You got to go through it like, hey, because there's an important decision making, business wise, money wise, that you need to make, to do. You know, like your contract. When does it expire? Do I fight this out? Do I renegotiate? You know, stuff like that. For him, he might have reached the end of his contract. If he loses, does he get cut? You know, he hadn't lost in 8 years. The last guy beat. Wow. He hasn't lost. He's on a 12-fight win streak. So for him, that was devastating. He could have handled it a little better still at the end. You know,
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, what's up? But he's being a little. I'm like,
I saw
from
that.
a French dude.
that.
You know, so you know,
French people are assholes.
yeah, kind of a little they're either super chill or they're hella condescending, dude. I don't know what
Cyril
is up
Gahn.
with that. You know, he seems like a chill dude. He seems like he smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
You know,
He
like
looked faded against John Jones.
yeah, exactly. So
You know what we should discuss too, because I definitely have a take on it, but the Islam versus Topuria. And I personally don't think Topuria deserves that fight. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but
I think he does.
I think he does.
You think he does?
I think it's a great fight.
Hyder, what do you think?
I think yeah, I could have defended the belt a little more.
Yes.
Yeah, no, once or twice before moving up,
Or at least fight someone right under Islam, maybe?
yeah, or
like,
something like that.
to
But
prove.
I think defend the belt, go up, you know, and if you defend it a few times, then yeah. Has he even defended it once?
I
Twice.
think I asked the same thing to Zach. I
Twice,
think it
yeah.
was once.
Oh, once?
Or
But-
yeah, well, one defense. He got it from Volk, and then he fought Max. Right?
You know,
Those
it'd
were
be
the two
you
fights.
know, it'd be a really good fight though. Is Topuria versus Armin, because just so
Sarukian?
Armin can bring it, like
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
back from what he
he's-
did.
I don't think Armin deserves. I think he's still got to get a couple.
I
fights
think
on
he
him.
Because of
deserves
the
it,
because the
dude.
back
Yeah,
thing.
what-
But did you see that one little machine he was doing? He's like, well,
Bro, how
yeah.
about him twisting his head? He's like showing out for Nina Drama
That
like
was
before the
bad,
fight.
though, dude. Pulls out like that morning or the day
Yeah.
before. That was really bad.
That's so ridiculous.
I know. And then you know what's crazy too is like me and my brother were Armenian.
Oh,
So like
Hayastan.
yeah. So like what's crazy
I wish
is
I understood it.
the
Uncultured.
whole event was around like Armenian
in LA, yeah.
heritage and
Oh, wow.
There's a bunch of
probably, like,
Armenians that
more
bought
than
tickets.
50% of the crowd was Armenian.
We had family over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and what's crazy too is that like they announced the guy that got Dana White or who believed in Dana White to get him on TV was an Armenian guy. So they gave this Armenian guy like the Hall of Fame award for like the production side of the UFC.
Oh, what?
Big night
That
for
night,
Armenians.
so it was like a big night for Armenians. So it was like kind of sad to see him
To
pull
know,
out.
Because
yeah.
that will never happen again.
But like,
now.
imagine
Yeah.
in your position, like crowd packed with like Filipinos
Yeah.
and like Bay
Yeah.
Area people.
Yeah.
Like, if you had a back tweak, you
Dude.
I
wouldn't
know,
pull
couldn't
out.
fight that.
It
You're
must have
still
been-
fighting.
Yeah,
I'm still
right?
fighting. I don't
It-
care.
Yeah, it must have been really bad. He
something
must have been
something
in-
must
it
have
had to be.
happened.
I
that
wouldn't
we
have
don't
took
know.
any risk though. Like fight week, like dude, you're cutting weight, bro. Like your body's extra sensitive. Like one little thing, you know,
Yeah.
especially you cut big. He looks like he cuts a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, Islam versus Armand too would be great.
It would
You
be
know,
great.
That'd
That
be
would.
great.
I wanna
but-
see
Charles
that.
versus Taporia.
Have you seen the first fight?
Yeah.
That was the craziest fight in my like. He it was a very close fight. I think he beat him, but
No, I don't.
It was
No,
frickin-
Islam won. Yeah, you know, it was very.
It was
I like that
close.
trip he was doing with the
Yeah.
over under. Actually, a couple of my best friends are Armenian. You know, so
That's awesome.
I remember one of my guys growing up. He invited me to one of these Armenian reunions.
Yeah.
And he's like, my buddy John, and he's like, this is how you say hi to everyone. He said to say good morning or hey, hi, how are you? He said, vorit tutem.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what that means?
No, dude, it's so
Isn't it
bad.
in
Like,
Chicago?
Okay,
What is that?
if you're Armenian,
we
you're
have
gonna
a
laugh. It means
Filipino
like
teaching us
kiss.
Armenian.
Yeah, that's
He's like
crazy. We don't even
kiss
know.
my baby. Kiss my baby ass. All right? So I'm
Oh,
saying
that's
this
what
is
fucked
you up.
Yeah, something like that.
I was gonna
right?
say I don't think that's hello.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. So
No.
he said, I'm saying this to all his family members, and you know, Armenian folks are almost like mafia, bro. They seem a little
They're
hard.
very
They get down.
serious.
They get
They're
down.
gangster, bro.
Yeah.
So they're always like, puts his wife back here. I'm like, bro, what did you just tell? What did you just have me do? Because your uncle looks like he wants to shoot me right now, you know? And my friend's just dying in tears. I'm like, bro, you're about to get me hurt, dude.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I have
That's
a lot
so
of respect
funny.
and affinity with the Armenian culture.
Yeah,
so
thank you,
yeah,
bro.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super
No,
awesome.
it's so cool.
If you outside of the featherweight like division, if you could see like want Dana to make one fight right now, what would it be?
Me versus Topuria.
Oh,
Bro, this is why. Topuria is a great boxer. I got hands too. Max don't have the punching power at 145 to keep him back.
Yeah.
I do, and I have a really good, I'm also a really good kicker. And I feel like stylistically, me and him would be a really good match. Just because I can keep up with his boxing, I have the speed and power. But you know what? I also have that I feel like why I'm going to beat all these guys, I can push like no one else can push. Like once we're dead ass tired, I want to outlast you and beat you. Like I just know I have that. You know, I have the I can just dig deep and I can just fight people. You know, if you're to the very end and beat them and inch them out of a very hard fight, despite like my last fight showed that I was completely injured. My last fight, I wasn't moving how I normally would, but I know I have a lot of self-belief in myself, and I know I could, if worst gets to worst, I could always bring you to the deep end and drown you.
Healthy Hyder takes them easy.
100%. Do you could you ever see yourself moving up to lightweight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fought at 150s.
It was like a catch weight?
Yeah, catch weight, and I felt way more powerful.
Really?
Yeah, so when in high school, I used to be 185 solid. You know, I used to grab walnuts like this, like, and crush walnuts like this.
That's
Boom.
crazy.
I'd go up to a wall, go boom, 1 inch punch a wall, and put a hole in it. You know,
What?
I would tell people in high school, I'm like, yo, punch me as hard as you want. All the football players, all the baseball players. You know, my friend got drafted to the Nationals right out of high school. Okay,
Really?
I told him punch me as hard as he can in the body. He's like big dude, you know, and I give him 1 inch punch, I can knock out knock the air out of all those guys.
Oh
my
God.
And so when I would fight people in high school, it'd be just so easy because I could kickbox, I could wrestle, and then I just started lifting weights because I never lifted weights before. And growing up, I did a lot of blue collar work, you know. So blue collar strength is a real thing, you know.
Job
You know,
site
you know what
strength.
I actually have too in the office here. I have a grip strength thing. We'll
Yes.
try it after this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
We gotta get a
curious.
video of it.
Yeah, I don't know how good it is right now, but yeah, because
I haven't seen anyone go past 160.
Oh wow, that's
So,
good.
we'll see.
I don't know how good it is right now because I know that sometimes at the end of my week of training, because at the end of my week, I'm like my body's
stressed.
a little burnt out, but let's do it. You
Yeah,
know?
no, let's run
Let's
it.
try
That'd be good.
Yeah,
I could grab it
so
right now.
I'm really excited for what's next, and yeah, I want that Topuria fight,
That's
but I
awesome.
gotta earn that, dude. That's
I know.
so I want to
100%.
beat
Will.
Nathaniel Wood,
We believe in
call
you.
someone out, and then maybe next year me and him can run it. You
What
know?
about
sir.
Volk though? You think you could take Volk?
Yeah. I feel I could take all of them. You know, I'm not in this to not. Volk has an interesting. I think me fighting Nathaniel Wood will help me in the match against Volk
Yes.
because they both switch stances. They're both short and they're both crafty. I think Volk's better on the ground though. A better wrestler, stronger and a stronger person. I think Nathaniel Wood is highly skillful, but I don't think he's physically as strong as good of a wrestler. But I know I'm really good against most of my fights. People see me come forward and cut the ring off because most of the time I fight a guy taller than me. This next fight, if you see my other fights where I can fight a guy shorter than me, I'm probably better at boxing someone and circling around the ring. So I'm really excited about this matchup. It's probably going to be a combination of both, but you're going to see a different kind of flavor from me this next fight.
Get
40
ready.
punch
Yeah.
combo.
I just want to give him one, hopefully, and send his head.
Yeah,
Whole
let's
crowd.
go though. But thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming
Dude,
on.
yeah, it was a
Thank
pleasure.
you guys for having me.
Dude,
Appreciate
no,
you
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
And then
This was
after your
awesome.
fight too, come back on.
Yeah.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
run it back.
Let's do it.
No, we're
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
excited to see your
Yeah.
If
journey.
you guys have anyone you want me to call out, let me know, okay? So give me a top 3. I'm still trying to decide who that is, but if you guys have someone, please help me out.
Well, when you win the fight, do you think you've earned it to? You can't fight the top guy, but someone top 15. You're thinking
100%.
So
I think for sure.
What about like a Josh Emmett? I feel like that would be like
I
a
would love to
war.
fight Josh Emmett. So my buddy, I train with a few people from Alpha Male.
Okay.
Yeah, so I at CSA, Andre Feely and by Hector, they all train with him also. So there's a couple guys like Dan Ige and him that I wouldn't mind fighting. Don't get me wrong. You
Yeah.
pay me, I'm
I
gonna
think-
fight them, but I prefer to fight someone else.
I think you need to call out Bryce because he's like
100%.
12th
Yeah,
or like 13th, and like he brings crazy crowd.
yeah.
So like I think going in and
then
like
talk some
fighting
shit.
Bryce and like
Knock some sense
doing
into
like
him.
some unbelievable
more.
performance with Bryce, and then bro, then you're right. You're there. You're
How
literally there.
scared did he fight John Silva? He fought John Silva terrified.
He got worked.
He was in his head. The moment the fight got announced, he was already in his head.
Yeah.
And I wanted that fight because Crone Gracie was part of our team, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wanted that get back. But then John Silva, but I would love to fight Bryce. Some Instagrams tagged me versus Bryce, me versus Giga Chikadze.
I was gonna say
Giga would be a good fight.
That was the second one I was gonna say is like, I think Giga would be a good matchup with
Giga's
Giga.
55 though, right?
45.
No, 45.
Yeah.
45.
He's
He is?
12th as well.
Well, on a striking level,
like,
you two would.
tied up.
That would be
fun.
exciting,
Giga's
bro.
I think
dangerous,
stylistically,
dude.
it'd be very hard for I'd be very hard for him, you know.
Yeah.
And after beating William Gomez, it's similar matchup.
Yeah.
Aljamain
stuff like that.
Sterling's 9th, Josh Emmett's 10th, Gene Silva's 11th, Giga's 12th.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
those are all
Giga seems
possibilities.
because he just fought. He
Yeah.
seems like after this fight would be the most realistic.
100%.
Bryce
Him or
Mitchell,
Bryce?
Bryce
Him or Bryce?
Mitchell's
Him or Bryce?
13th, Dan Igue's 14th.
I feel like Giga
So
would
like
bring
that's
out like
what
a
I'm saying, like a Bryce Mitchell, Giga, like that would be really cool call out. I mean, you do what you feel though. You're the boss.
I'm only gonna call someone out if I do a really good performance.
Of
you
course.
know?
100%.
I don't want to call someone out and like look like shit, you know.
No,
so
for sure.
Super
I'm
respectable.
the kind of guy as confident as I am. I want to earn everything, you know, and that's how I've looked at everything. I want to earn that. I want to earn that call. I want to earn that, and this way I'm more deserving. It also makes me work harder towards it, you know. And I feel like I feel like I deserve it too if I finish the guy in spectacular fashion, you know.
How many fights could you possibly get this year too?
I'm hoping at least 2 more fights. I have this one and then another one, hopefully. But I hope I finish Nathaniel Wood and not get too injured and maybe take a short notice fight or
it's crazy
or
though.
plan
The
another
year's
one.
almost halfway done.
Yeah.
And what is crazy too that I'm thinking about is like 2 to 4 fights, right? You're like,
No, you're
Right
Crap.
there.
you're
but
there.
it gets
That's what I'm
harder and
saying.
harder as you
Get ready to
as you
see
go.
Hyder top 15 by the end of the year.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
would be like the top 3. I think craziest fights for me would be like most exciting for the fans is me versus Topuria, me versus John Silva, and me versus who else? There's someone else in the
Diego?
Diego Lopez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Diego's.
those 3
Yeah.
we're under the same management, but it's whatever, you know. All 3 of those fights would be really good. I think would be really fun fights for the fans.
That would be awesome.
You know,
Let's
Let's get through Wood.
let's
Yeah.
get through
Let's
Wood
go.
first, all right?
Awesome.
Put some money on me.
We
I
got
will.
you.
Bro.
My last 2 fights, I told everyone in the Bay, I'm like, because I was 2-1 underdog. I'm like, I don't know how they have me as underdog. Because, dude, these guys, like, my last 10 fights, 4 UFC, 3 Bellator, 3 LFA. I've only had 1 regional fight. I've only fought 10, like, hard guys, you know? That's why I told everyone, put that bet on me. So everyone's messaging me. I put my whole rent on you, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, you better not lose. I put all this money on you or whatever. I have people from every neighborhood in the Bay Area, right? So afterwards, when I win, they're like, you made me hella money, bro.
Yeah,
This guy put $100K on me.
Really?
He
got
better
two-
have took you out to dinner, right?
Yeah, he got
Okay, okay.
$255,000 back.
Wow.
Yeah, some of my other buddies, I have some like rich millionaire, billionaire.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
Hyder, I give you a little. They got a little chunk for me because they
Let's
made a
go.
lot of money
That's
for
hype.
me.
That's
Hell
hype.
yeah,
from
dude.
me.
Took you out to a
And-
nice
but
dinner?
yeah, so I got guys from like Hayward, Oakland, San Francisco, Marinda.
Let's go.
You want the whole hood money, Hyde?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm stimulating the economy single-handedly, you guys. So
You
pay
think you'll
some
be
money
underdog
me,
on
huh?
the next fight?
I'm for sure gonna be underdog.
Do we got a
they're
prediction on like what round? I'm trying to get like a straight bet. Like,
I'm thinking like the 2nd or 3rd round. I'm
Second
gonna
or third?
finish
Go.
you know, but
let's go.
Like an uppercut
We'll see.
or what are you thinking?
I don't even know what I'm gonna do in there, dude. Like I didn't even know I was gonna throw this 100 punch. I have no idea, dude.
100
go.
punch combo.
100
Let's
punch
go.
combo.
Let's go.
That would be
Holy crap.
crazy.
But yeah, bro, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
we're excited
Appreciate
for you guys.
Dude,
Thank you guys.
Thank
we
you.
we're so
Thanks for having me,
bro,
man.
we're
It's a
so
pleasure.
dude, we're so excited to see it, and everybody watching, please follow him.
Yeah.
Follow his journey, guys. This guy is not. You guys heard his story right now. You guys hear everything. Do not
This
miss
shit's exciting.
out on this.
Don't
Follow
sleep on
him.
Hyder.
We're gonna link everything down below, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.